gentle touch shows me so much, and suddenly everything I've learned is a place it can start. 'Cause finally love is come and taken a place in our heart. This is our welcoming. Open up and let it in. Feel it happening. Spirit's beckoning. Welcome to our welcoming. This is our welcoming. Open up and let it in. Feel it happening. Spirit's beckoning. Welcome to our
Good morning,
Good morning.
Morning.
and welcome once again to our online virtual Unity community. I want to first thank Michelle and everyone for the great services you all created while I was in Cincinnati. I returned filled up with family love, having finally gotten to visit my daughter Bree and her family, Salvador, her husband, and of course my grandsons, Mateo and Joaquin. There's nothing like grandson hugs to rejuvenate the soul. So, as we breathe into this now moment, please join with me in affirming our spiritual oneness with one another and with all beings around the world, recognizing the divisions of nation, race, religion, culture, sexual orientation, gender, and or political parties are all illusions to ultimately be dissolved in and through our shared spiritual walk. I'm Reverend Vicky Elder, and I'm here once again with Reverend Michelle Jelinich and our Essential Sunday Service team. Music director Denise Headland and Richard Conklin on drums, and Devin Hubert is here with us. We're glad to have him here on guitar. Our council co-chairs, Robin Falkenberg doing platform, and Martha Price doing the live stream, and John Talon on sound with council member Larry Sanks, and Keith Larson helping with all the logistics. We begin by affirming our Unity of Monterey Bay sacred mission as an inclusive spiritual community committed to co-creating an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just, and compassionate human presence on this planet. In celebrating that oneness, we honor the God of each of our understanding, and we affirm the innate good and divine essence within each and every individual. Will you please join me in our statement of faith? There is only one presence and one power in the universe, God the good, expressing as infinite God beyond us, intimate God beside us, inner God being us, divine love in action. And now as we take a moment to go even a little deeper, setting our intention to open our hearts and minds even more into this sacred time together and breathing into this present moment. We hold our beloved state in our prayers as we endure these fires, grieve the loss of life and homes and heritage. My heart especially breaks open at the loss of Big Basin, my safe place of the Most High, and pray that some of the ancient ones, these grand, almost 2,000-year-old redwood trees, will have survived. We also hold in prayer and gratitude all of the firefighters and support people who are helping humans and animals displaced from their homes. Our friend Marie Butcher shared a prayer on Facebook that I offer now for all of us to join in. May the waters come. May all the fires be quenched. May all beings be safe, community members and animals. May the trees and other plants grow back. May homes and lives torn apart be rebuilt. May we support the firefighters, and then may they rest. May our community be forever resilient. May there be water and rain to quench the flames. And I add, may we be a source of compassion and strength as we support one another through these challenging times. And finding solace in community, we affirm together, please repeat after me, standing in truth.
Standing in truth.
I move from fear to faith.
I move from fear to faith.
And so it is.
So it is.
Once again, we refer you to the announcements of upcoming events in our weekly shout-out, which you can receive if you're not receiving it already by going to our website, unityofmontereybay.org. And we have a special celebration today. I know you already did. We did birthday Sundays, the beginning of August, but so happens that Devin's birthday is tomorrow, and so we're going to do a special.
25.
He's going to be 25, which I'm not going to acknowledge because I was here when Devin was like, my sons would pick him up and. Yes, 25. Where'd the years go?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Reverend. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you. You're wonderful. God is blessing you now.
And now we take a moment to bless the children, those children that are close to us and all children around the world. We open ourselves to their light and their joy and their wonder as we join in our heartfelt blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are.
This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
So now we're going to take a moment to deepen our blissful interconnection with Spirit as we collectively take a deep breath in and let it out with an audible sigh. We allow all distractions to gently fade away as we invite the chime to call us into the sacred space within. We ring the chime 4 times to call in the 4 directions and to remind us of our interconnection with all of creation and with the sacred circle of life. As we feel it resonate through our very beings, we follow its call into this now present moment within. Continuing to focus on our breath, with each inhale we open our hearts and minds. We envision our breath reaching every cell of our bodies. And with each exhale, we see all barriers and obstacles dissolving into the divine flow. And again, as we inhale, we expand the spaciousness within us. We move beyond the limitations and boundaries of our bodies. And as we exhale, we ground ourselves deep within Mother Earth and into our oneness with the universe. Finally, we breathe our awareness into the highest expression of love, light, joy, and peace we can imagine as we experience a transforming wave of gratitude. And with a fullness of heart, we say yes to it all, embracing, claiming, and knowing the divine Christ Spirit, expressing in, through, and as us. And with a final exhale, We say, "Thank you, God." So now, fully centered and transformed by the power of Spirit, we enter into our lesson and meditation time with today's daily word.
We read from today's daily word, shared with permission of Unity, publisher of Daily Word, that can also be found at dailyword.com. And the word is inner peace. I invite you to allow my words to be your words. The peace of God fills my mind, my heart, and my life. Quiet moments in a fragrant garden, a stroll by a lake or stream, or a visit to any place of beauty inspires a deep awareness of peace. I also enjoy peace in the company of friends, those with whom I have easy camaraderie and deep bonds. Growing in spiritual awareness, I claim inner peace wherever I am. True inner peace comes from deep within me. If I am feeling less than peaceful, I pause and breathe out worry, fear, and unhealthy concern. Giving my full attention to the divine presence within me, I breathe in a peace that soothes my emotions, calms my thoughts, and relaxes my body. As I continue to inhale peace and exhale concern, I move forward with renewed clarity and confidence. And from the scriptures, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you. Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3.
I am that I am has brought me to this now moment. Here I am that I am has brought me to this now moment. Here I am to be the voice and to be the heart through which heaven is made known on earth. To be the voice and to be the heart through which heaven is made known on earth. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am.
In witness to the wisdom of the many paths to the sacred, we read from 3 sacred traditions on this morning's topic, Revolutionary Love. From Buddhism, nonviolent action, born of the awareness of suffering and nurtured by love, is the most effective way to confront adversity. That was Thich Nhat Hanh. From Sikhism, I see no stranger, I see no enemy, I look upon all with goodwill. Guru Nanak. And from Judaism and Christianity, one of the scribes asked Jesus, "Which commandment is the first of all?" Jesus answered, "The first is, 'Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength.' The second is this, 'You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these.'" Mark chapter 12, verse 28 through 31.
alive in the space between us. Feel that love right now. God speaks out in the words between us. Hear those words right now. I am holy. You are holy. There is beauty between us. Spirit shines in the light between us. See that light right now. Peace is born in the good between us. Be that peace right now. I am holy. You are holy. There is beauty between us. Between us. Faith is the bond that we share between us. Hold that faith right now. Truth is the life in the breath between us. Live that truth right now. We are holy. We are holy. We are holy. We are holy. Love is alive in the space between us. Love is alive in the space between us. Love is alive between us.
I think this is one of those times that, so there's the lesson, but I will add a few words. So have you ever stopped and wondered recently, how did we get here? What has happened to our country? Not that we were ever perfect or even close. We've always been a work in progress. But I remember when it felt like we were making progress, or at least striving to co-create a more perfect union. So I came across this book during my vacation, See No Stranger, a memoir and manifesto of revolutionary love by Valerie Kaur. And I was reminded of the turning point, when our now all but forgotten culture of hope was tragically transformed into a culture of fear. We'll all be remembering that 19th anniversary of that catastrophic shift in just 3 weeks, September 11th. Think back. Can you recall that day? The fear and the shock and the just unknowing. I remember as a community how we came together and we collected hundreds of little bags of rice that we then sent to the White House as part of a national call for our response to 9/11 to be one of diplomacy and compassion rather than war. But I also remember that rather than pause to process our shock, grieve those we'd lost, or allow the world's outpouring of love and goodwill to be a balm for our wounds, our energies became immediately refocused towards war. On the very night of the attacks, then President Bush declared a war against terrorism and divided the world into us and them, saying you are either with us or against us. Grieving, as Valerie Kaur explains, is a process that takes time and stillness and presence. And she adds, it's impossible to grieve and prepare to kill at the same time. And while the consequences of unresolved grief inside a person is tragic, unresolved grief inside a nation can be catastrophic, releasing enormous aggression. Over the past 19 years, in the name of our 9/11 victims, the United States war on terror that began in Afghanistan has spanned 2 decades, 3 presidencies, and 76 countries. It's cost more than $5.6 trillion and killed more than 1 million people. And that same aggression that continually powers the perpetual war abroad has created new norms for the hate and criminalization of Muslims and immigrants here at home, fueling the resurgence of a white nationalist movement that has ultimately overtaken the highest offices of our nation. Over the next few weeks, guided by the personal experiences and spiritual insights of renowned Sikh activist, filmmaker, and civil rights lawyer Valerie Kaur in her Memoir and Manifesto of Revolutionary Love, we're going to engage the call to show up to the labor of embracing, practicing, and being love. Not the emotion, but the ethic that has anchored the nonviolent movements of reformers throughout history. Grounded in the transformative principles of her Sikh faith, Kaur defines love as a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving, a choice we make over and over again. And if love is sweet labor, she adds, it can be taught, modeled, and practiced, engaging all of our emotions. Joy being the gift of love, grief being the price of love, anger protecting that which is loved, and when we think we have reached our limit, wonder being the act that returns us to love. Revolutionary love, according to Kaur, is the choice to enter into wonder and labor for others, for our opponents, and for ourselves in order to transform the world around us. It's not a formal code or prescription, but an orientation to life that is personal and political and rooted in joy. Moreover, it's a force for justice that can only be practiced in community. As Kaur says, revolutions don't happen only in grand public moments, but in small pockets of people coming together to inhabit a new way of being. We birth the beloved community by becoming the beloved community, which is a process and a journey that I believe Unity of Monterey Bay can relate to. Kaur tells us the story of how she discovered the practice of revolutionary love in a tumultuous journey of awakening, beginning in that moment that so many of us can identify when we wonder how to breathe through the world we're in and how to push to transform it. Being pregnant while she wrote the book, she employs a birthing metaphor that compares the darkness we're now experiencing to the womb, and the work of revolutionary love to the necessary and long labor needed to birth a new nation. Kaur begins with a focus on learning to love others, in essence, seeing no strangers. She says, when we wonder about people, when we grieve with them, and when we choose to fight with and for them, we can build the kind of solidarity that the world needs. Wonder about, grieve with, and fight with and for. She again emphasizes that individual acts of love are not enough. We need to be part of movements that help us wonder, grieve, and fight together. Now, I thought I would be covering all three of these steps in this first lesson, but unless you want to be here for a couple of hours, as so often happens, I found out that I'd bit off too much information for one lesson. So this morning, we're going to begin just with wonder. And I shouldn't say just, because wonder is an amazing capacity. Kaur speaks lovingly of her grandfather, who left India to escape religious persecution and immigrated to Clovis, California, right here in our Central Valley. She grew up on the 40-acre farm that her family had worked for almost a century, imbibing her Sikh faith through her grandfather's stories and his example. Valerie shares her favorite story as the Sikh origin story of Guru Nanak, the first teacher of the Sikh tradition. It explains her faith and guiding principles. I'll summarize it here. 5 centuries ago, in a village in Punjab, on the Indian subcontinent, there lived a young man named Nanak. He was deeply troubled by the violence between the Hindus and Muslims around him. One day, he disappeared on the bank of a river for 3 days. People thought he had drowned. But then he emerged on the 3rd day with a vision of oneness, the oneness of humanity and of the world. This vision threw him into a state of ecstatic wonder, and he began singing songs of devotion called shabads, praising the divine within him and all around him. In other words, he was in love. And love made him see with new eyes. Everyone around him was a part of him that he did not yet know. I see no stranger, said Guru Nanak. I see no enemy. He began to teach that all people could see the world in this way, explaining there is a voice inside each of us called the Hamai, and the I that names itself as separate from you. It resides in the bowl that holds our individual consciousness. But, he said, this separateness is an illusion. And when we quiet the chatter in our heads through music or meditation or recitation or song, those boundaries begin to disappear. The bowl breaks. And for a moment, we taste the truth, sweet as nectar. We are part of one another. Joy rushes in. And long after the moment passes, we can choose to remember the truth of our interconnectedness, that we belong to one another. In other words, we can choose to see no stranger. Now that sounds an awful lot like our unity basic foundation. And one of the blessings through these lessons is that we're going to get to learn a little bit more about the Sikh tradition, which is a very powerful faith. Awe and wonder are foundational practices of Sikhism, often practiced by repeating shabads, sort of like us repeating our affirmations. Valerie describes her grandfather humming the shabads day and night as he went about his work. Not so much praying, she said, as practicing a constant communion with all things, his way of remembering the truth, rehearsing his wonder. He would hum to himself, "Wondrous are the forms, wondrous are the colors, wondrous are the beings who wander around unclothed, wondrous is the wind, wondrous is the water, wondrous is the fire which works wonders. Beholding these wonders, I am wonderstruck. O Nanak, those who understand this are blessed." He cultivated that same wonder in Valerie and her brother, calling them to look at the hose and the rainbows that the water made when it was sprayed into the sunlight, and teaching them lessons about the solar system with pictures drawn on a chalkboard as he would excitedly exclaim, "The sun's light takes exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach us. The light of faraway stars reaches us long after they have died." Also, their mother, upon hearing thunder, would cry out in joy and take them outside to dance in the rain, mouths open to catch the raindrops. Wonder is our birthright, Kaur explains. If we are safe and nurtured enough to develop our capacity to wonder, we will start to wonder about the people in our lives too, their thoughts and experiences, their pain and joy, their wants and their needs, sensing that they are as vast and complex as we are. In other words, seeing them as our equal, gaining information about how to love them. Wonder is the wellspring of love. Of course, it's easier to wonder about people close to us, though I'm sure we could improve even in our closest relationships with a little more wonder. I remember advising couples and parents in counseling to try and see their partners or their children as aliens from outer space, to encourage wonder and fascination about their motivations and behavior rather than judgments. But given that, it's even more difficult for us to wonder about strangers, especially strangers that appear different from us. But she says when we choose to wonder about people we don't know, when we imagine their lives and listen for their stories, we begin to expand the circle of those we see as part of us and prepare ourselves to love beyond what evolution requires. This call to love beyond our own flesh and blood is ancient. It echoes down to us from indigenous leaders, spiritual teachers, and social reformers throughout our history. Guru Nanak called us to see no stranger, Buddha to practice unending compassion, Abraham to open our tent to all, Jesus to love our neighbors, Muhammad to take in the orphan, Mirabelle to love without limit. It is the ancient Sanskrit truth that we can look upon anyone or anything and say, I am that. It is the African philosophy of Ubuntu, I am because you are. They all expanded the circle of who counts as one of us, and therefore who is worthy of our care and our concern. And what has been an ancient spiritual truth is now increasingly verified by science. We are all indivisibly part of one another. If wonder is where love begins, the failure of wonder is the beginning of violence. Once we stop wondering about others, we stop seeing them as a part of ourselves. It disables our capacity for empathy. Our minds are primed to see the world in terms of us and them. Whenever we look upon another's face, our minds discern in an instant whether or not they are one of us, part of our family, our community, or our country, or whether they are one of them. Many of us have been exploring this process in some depth in our reading circle, How to Be an Anti-Racist. In essence, learning about how we see us, ourselves, as complex individuals, but them as a simplified one-dimensional collective. And that translates into our behavior, because who we see as one of us determines who we let inside our circle of care and concern, who we're willing to wonder about rather than simply judge. In our group, we've been discovering that in order to counter this us and them knee-jerk habit of mind, we have to be willing to wonder not only about others, but about ourselves. How do we come to perceive in this way? What are the social, cultural, historical, religious, and family stories and experiences that have shaped these perspectives? And then we have to be willing to choose between the beliefs and stories we want to keep and the beliefs and stories we want to release. My beloved late husband Rory labeled this measure life-affirming versus life-denying beliefs, stories, and attitudes. Kaur describes it this way: there are only those beliefs and stories that destroy the world we want and those that create it. We get to decide which ones to hold in our hearts. But even as we choose life-affirming, creative, healing, and inclusive stories and affirmations, we must also be willing to labor, to stay awake, to catch our old life-denying patterns and fears as they arise, and consciously replace them gently with love, forgiveness, grace, and more wonder. As Kaur reminds us, seeing no stranger is an act of will. When we encounter one another throughout our day, it's not our primal reflex that we're responsible for, but the succession of consciousness and thoughts that follow. Studies have shown it can be as simple as wondering, I wonder what this stranger likes to eat for dinner. That will dissipate our fear and open our hearts. We can each retrain our minds and hearts to wonder rather than judge, to open rather than close. Our July 3rd daily word provides us with a powerful affirmation. Will you repeat it after me? I am filled with wonder and amazement. Wonder and amazement. As I behold the divine in every person. All situations. And each serendipitous moment. And so it is. Namaste.
All beings know love. All beings know peace. All beings know love. All beings know peace. We are love. We are peace. All beings know love. All beings know peace. All beings know love. All beings know peace.
So we've come to that time now in our service when we have an opportunity to spend some time in quiet reflection and meditation. So I invite you now, wherever you are, to just get comfortable for a few moments. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, and begin to bring your focus from the outer to the inner space. Taking some slow, deep breaths to help us arrive in the present moment. So breathing in deeply together and releasing slowly. And with the next breath, breathing in peace. And exhaling stress and fear. And one more deep breath, just breathing in love and well-being. And exhaling all sense of limitation. And I'd like us to do this morning what's a very powerful practice that the Buddhists call loving kindness, or metta, using the ancient Pali word. And it can help us feel like we can do something. When the times are so difficult, we feel so powerless. So we're going to begin by bringing our awareness to our heart space. Just bringing all of your focus and attention to that area of the heart as you continue to breathe in slowly and deeply. As if you were breathing into the heart and breathing out through the heart. Now I invite you to call to your mind something that you feel a deep love or appreciation for. Could be a pet or a person or a special place in nature. And just bring that place or that being very present in front of you and allow that heart space to fill with those feelings of love and appreciation. Even that wonder and awe that Vicky was speaking of. Just allowing those very natural feelings of love and compassion to fill up your heart space. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out. And now allowing that love energy that's so powerful to fill your whole body. Letting every cell of your being receive that love. And if it's hard for you to access a feeling of love, remember that this kind of love doesn't come from our ego or our personality. It comes from the divine. And we are practicing being channels of that love. So now that we've allowed that loving kindness, those feelings of compassion and well-being to become activated within us, we now direct them to those who need it. So this morning, let's direct that love and well-being and good wishes towards all those that are struggling, that are experiencing hardship. Here in California, all of those who are experiencing the devastation and loss of the fires, the wildlife and pets, the firefighters and emergency workers, all those involved. We just begin to direct that loving energy directly from our heart to all of those beloveds. You can just see that energy flowing directly out of your heart and out into the world. And you could gently repeat to yourself, may you be well. May you be free from suffering. May you be happy. May you be safe. And may you be at peace. And again, letting those feelings of compassion and love and benevolence, loving kindness, well wishes, allowing them to fill your heart. And now let's practice directing them towards all the folks that are difficult for us, folks who hold different political opinions, folks we just can't seem to see eye to eye with, those who challenge us, those who we may feel like we dislike with our ego selves, but we can still direct this love to them because this love doesn't come from us, it comes from divine love. And so allowing that divine love to flow out to encompass all of these folks. And you can repeat to yourself, may you be well. May you be free from suffering. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be at peace. Breathing in and breathing out. And now I invite you to hold a place of compassion and love for yourself. Directing that loving kindness within. As you once again repeat the words, may I be well. May I be free from suffering. May I be happy. May I be safe. And may I be at peace. Allow yourself to receive those words, to receive that loving kindness, direct from the source, as you rest for a few moments in the silence. As we prepare to bring this time of meditation to a close, just remember that we can cultivate that loving kindness in ourselves by doing this practice regularly. We can learn to have well wishes and benevolence towards even those we don't like or agree with. And this can bless our world as well as it blesses us.
All beings know love. All beings know peace. All beings know love. All beings know peace. We are love. We are peace. All beings know love. All beings know peace. All beings know love. All beings know peace.
And so we know that in the midst of every hardship, God is there. And we hold fast to that truth. And we give thanks for that loving presence of God, that one power that is always available to us. And we give thanks for this sacred time together and for this community that supports us on our spiritual path. And we say thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
Amen.
Amen.
Unity of Monterey Bay is the collective consciousness and commitment of all of us who give of our time, treasure, and talent in order to sustain this spiritual community that is dedicated to transforming lives. We know that prosperity is a state of mind that finds blessings in every situation and abundance in joyous generosity. We transform all appearance of fear or lack into faith-filled peace of mind by shifting our attention to thoughts of gratitude for the abundance of God's good in our lives. And with our hearts and minds overflowing with gratitude, we breathe into the divine flow of God's good, trusting that we are enough, and that we have enough, and that there always is enough to both have and to share. And again, we are grateful to all of you for your online giving through our website at unityofmontereybay.org and through your mailed-in offerings, including those who have set up automatic giving with your banking institutions. We are truly blessed. And now, from this place of faith and gratitude, I invite you to join me in mindful intention and joining in our offertory blessing. I am an open channel for God's infinite good, divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies everything I give and everything I receive. I am both blessed and a blessing. Thank you, God.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they might see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Devin.
Yeah, woohoo!
Oh, that was fun. So, as always this morning, we want to thank Kenny Loggins, Denise Rosier, and of course, the Fab Four, the Beatles, for their music, for us to be able to share with you this morning, as well as our awesome music team, and of course, our guest guitar soloist, Devin Hubert. So as we prepare to bring our service to a close, we just want you to know that we are so grateful you have joined us this morning, and we hope that we have made you feel at home here with our Unity of Monterey Bay community. And we want you to know that wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. If you're new to our community, we want you to know that we have a website at unityofmontereybay.org. And there's a place there that you can sign up to get our weekly newsletter so you can keep in touch and know what's going on in our community, all the various things that we offer. We have classes during the week and such, as well as there's also a prayer request link there where you can submit a prayer that our prayer chaplains will hold in prayer. And also, ultimately, we send it on to Silent Unity that holds it in prayer for 30 days. And of course, you can call Silent Unity any time of day or night, and someone will pray with you. So we are grateful for all of those prayer resources, and we know that we are a prayer-conditioned, if not air-conditioned, church. We don't need it this week, but last week it would have been nice. As always, we will be having our virtual coffee and community discussion time on Zoom beginning at 11:15. And so now as we make our circle for our prayer for protection, just envisioning that circle of love and protection encompassing our whole planet, but especially today, let's send it to all the fires here in California and just hold all of those places and those people and those animals and those plant beings and trees in our hearts, and just seeing some precipitation coming down, seeing those fires be extinguished, and everyone being safe. Will you please join me in our prayer for protection? The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous song. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
We'd like to leave you this morning with this prayer from Unity Worldwide Ministries. We wrap our world in prayer today, knowing God is greater than whatever we face, greater than illness, loss, injustice, and confusion. God is an ever-flowing stream of love and wisdom, pouring through each of us to anoint our earth with healing, harmony, and wholeness. So please affirm that with us this morning, and have a wonderful Sunday and a great week to come. We're glad you joined us.